excited to you. Happy Friday. I can tell you so much. I'm super excited. It's a Friday, guys. Truly, it's been a beautiful day. And I'm back again here on Ruby Uncensored. I just want to say, if it's your first time to come across this channel, please don't forget to subscribe and also make sure that you turn on your notification button so every time I'm live, you'll be notified immediately. And to my regulars, whom I respect, I just want to say welcome. Let's have a conversation. Okay, so it's very interesting. EU slams 23 August election, which was a sham. And also, ZEC, Mr. Mnangagwa, has been robbed into all these anomalies. 2017 coup definitely was a betrayal. It's what we're going to be looking at right now. Good to see you, Tavan. Good to see you. I'm so glad, guys. Come over. Let's have a conversation. It's Good Friday to everybody. Hope you guys had a good one. How has been your day? Please feel free to comment in the comment section and also drop your location. It's quite very important so that we can keep. Nessa, can I tell you, I think I need to actually, guys, I don't know. I'm trying to see how I could get your if you are around in South Africa or where you're staying, so that we can, meet and mingle. Yeah, Friday, Nessa, it's good to see you, man. What's happening, everybody? Are you guys okay? And thank you so much, guys, for coming through. I'm so grateful. Right, so quick one. Let's look at our trends. There's an issue of the coup, which is actually trending because, guys, if for those who did not realize, today is the 17th of November. Again, reminding us of a day that we were definitely played. We were played dirty, and everyone is like, oh my God, reminding us of the coup. So one of my brothers said, dear Zimbabweans, would you prefer another coup or with the national outlook or democratic coup, or wait to pretend to vote again in 2028? And I want to ask you this question. Will you guys prefer, based on your experiences, I don't trust any coup, honestly, no. Oh, you must wait to pretend to vote again in 2028. No, definitely we're not going to wait for 2028. But in the same breath, we will not accept a coup. Not a chance. And they also said on this day in 2017, Zimbabweans were desperate for change in the same manner. They are desperate for change in 2023. Key lesson, let's define the change we seek. Change within a party or replacement is not necessarily change. Will I do it again? Yes, I will. So the question that people are asking, I said, do you want to wait for 2028 where you would consider a coup? Not in my lifetime. Not in my lifetime. A coup is definitely not on the cards. I would really want transitional government, or definitely we're going to be looking at fresh poll, because what happened here. But I wanted to remind you, remember what we discussed about from Mnangagwa when he mentioned that there was a threat on the coup day. Let's just keep on refreshing and reminding each other so we understand really what brought us where we are today. Because the coup, what a mess. So we're going to listen to Mnangagwa really when he spoke about the threat that they received the very same day of the coup from the army. Take a listen, please.
And Tsvangirai was already unwell. He was alliance at Tsvangirai's house. And I was chairing that meeting. And Tsvangirai was already unwell. He was in the house, but he was not in the meeting. A call came through. We were about to do a press conference. And obviously these people were connected. Some of the people were with us. Were in direct calls with those who were carrying out the coup. A call came through. Tsvangirai's PA said, I must come and take that call. The person introduced themselves as a Lieutenant General so-and-so, and say, whatever you do, do that press conference. If for 1 second you condemn what we are doing, we will be there. We will be there, and you will not like our boots. Right? So I said, okay. So
you've never shared this anywhere?
No.
You're sharing this for the first time?
I haven't.
Wow.
I haven't.
A world exclusive for you right there. Please proceed.
So I put the phone down, went back, and said, guys, this is the call that we just got. The rest is history. The rest is history. But I'm sharing this in order to say, if that act, if it was an act of liberating us, it would not have started, for me personally, with that threat. The very fact that there was that threat told you that nothing good was going to come out of this. Right? I take no pleasure in saying that I knew. I also secretly hoped that maybe, just maybe, maybe we might have a break with the past.
All right, yeah. The threat that they received on the day of the coup, because they were almost having a press site, just tried to condemn the act, but then they received a phone call from the alleged lieutenant, which was the army, and said, if you just condemn what we're going to do, we'll come after you. You will see us, yeah, in the next few minutes we'll be there. It means they were in the vicinity, you know. So my question I'm asking is, if it was really about liberating the Zimbabweans, why threats? Why threatening people? If you are in to serve those that are creating, do you do it threats or you do it out of love? Honestly, I wish they would have said these things earlier. I don't think I was going to be dancing. The problem at Zimbabwe, as much as we are afraid of the regime, is not to be able to speak the truth. Speaking truth to power is so important because it enlightens everyone. It actually opens up the minds of people to think and also encourage everyone to have a say. We can't have a nation when it's only my way or no way, you know. No, everyone should come together and speak up. We must also understand that there is Zimbabwe because of us as a people. Without the people, there is no Zimbabwe. You know what I mean? Zimbabwe is people, not the wall and soil and trees. No. Zimbabwe is its people. We are the Zimbabweans and we are Zimbabwe. Now, Mawari Rempizo jealousy, he seems like he was an ally or he was affiliating with Robert Mugabe. He says that, so tomorrow, the 18th of November 2023, falls on Saturday, as it did on the 18th of November 2017, the day Zimbabweans mostly captured opposition supporters, civil society, a few cash feasts like Stan Zorwaza, Msasiwa, etc. Fronto, the army organized demonstration to support the coup. It's 6 years on. Was that a wise move? He's asking, and he's now tagging Fadzema, who was actually close to the army and taking pictures. And the Zimbabweans who were celebrating, I can see placards. There's another placard that was written, Zimbabwe Army, the voice of the people. Can you hear how much people had faith in the army? And another placard is written where there's Chiwenga and Edie, and it says, our true liberation heroes. This can show you how people were so sold out to the coup. But I remember Alex Magesa was very clear that this was not a right move. He said all coups never turn out well. As a matter of fact, to me, that was my first time to be introduced to anything called the coup. So pretty much, because I didn't have so much information, I just say, okay, as long as Mugabe is out of the question, we good. But we didn't know that this system was so deep. You know, it's actually a very deep system. It's not one person. You know, I can tell you, if we live, I told you last time that, remember, Mr. Mnangagwa ran from this system the time that he was fired by Mugabe. He ran to South Africa in exile from the same system, and the system was there. You know what I mean? So it's not about the person. It's really entrenched within the hearts of the people. Very sad indeed, extremely sad. He went further to say the extraordinary Congress had already been called. You know, Robert Mugabe had already told Honorable Kasikwire and Walter Muzembe of his intention to leave in December 2017. In a discussion known in ZANU-PF circles as the Mexico Declaration, the coupists got wind of it when Professor Jonathan Moore let the cat out of the bag on the 1st June 2017 at a SAPS Trust Public Lecture. From there on, the coupists cooked on ensuring Sekramai, Robert Mugabe, preferred as a successor, would not assume the throne, hence the coup. So Sidney Sekramai was supposed to be the successor. Unfortunately, it didn't work out because the plotters were already plotting to be at the front. So they did not allow that. They could not even give it a chance. That's why the coup was done earlier. And Sevi, I remember, when he mentioned that, I don't know why they did not give Mugabe to live properly. Now I can show you that this whole thing from the beginning, it was never for the people. I mean, we can see with where we are today that we have been sidelined. As a matter of fact, we suffer the consequences of the very same act, which is quite very sad, really. Very extremely sad. Because Mugabe wanted to do the right thing, that I need to get a successor, but Sidney was the preferred. And you heard Sidney Sekramai talk and said, Pasi Nembava. Do you remember when he mentioned recently by the campaign trail, he said Pasi Nembava means that he was not supporting what happened during the coup. They had given the benefit of the doubt, hoping that they will lead properly. But where we are now can see that no, it was never about the people. It was really for personal gain, soft enrichment. And he said Mugabe himself was overseeing a process in December 2017 through an extraordinary Congress which is aimed at seeing him leave the throne for Sekramai. That's a fact with the coup plotters who wanted ED couldn't fund them. The coup wasn't against your so-called palace coup. It was for ensuring ED presidency, even when it meant subverting the constitution, which was patently wrong. I'm not surprised because even today, every day, the constitution is nowhere to be found. It only be applied when it's other people. You know, if you're not my body, then the constitution works. But if you're my body, we can actually maneuver, you know. We can maneuver our way to the top. We can wiggle our way to victory all the time. But I guess it's the time that we need to say it is just enough. So the difference is that the ZANU-PF succession wasn't going to subvert the national constitution. It would have made involved the opposition supporting an illegality. You can't support a coup, a violation of the constitution, then cry about a coup aftermath like Shabangu's recalls. What did you expect from the coup? I think this is unfair because now he's blaming the opposition part that we supported the coup. I do not understand why is it everything is always about politics. We should consider these Zimbabweans, you know, that are suffering today, not opposition party, but every Zimbabwean who is suffering the aftermath of this war move. The coup was definitely, but nothing, a betrayal to Zimbabwean people. Now, breaking news. It's free, not fair, right? It's not free, not fair. In its final report, so that's the news walk released today, the European Union Election Observer Mission to Zimbabwe's August election says the polls were marked by a curtailment of rights and freedoms and the lack of a level playing field, which limited voters' ability to make their choices in a genuinely free and pluralistic environment. We all saw that the election was definitely a sham. This is European Union. Now we're going to go through the report that they sent out, very strongly written report. I've heard people who keeps saying, oh, SADC's not going to do anything. All people don't have the power over Zimbabwe as a sovereign nation. I think, honestly, this is why I keep on saying we are too educated to actually understand how life goes. I do respect, you know, if you have read books and you know what the constitution is saying, you know what, you know, the parameters of the borders says, whatever knowledge you may have as far as nations are concerned, I appreciate it. But I'm a firm believer that when it's God's time, it is God's time. Zimbabwe is no longer an issue of saying what are the sovereign nation laws say, because the laws were never applied. Never. So I think what's more important is for us to really understand that the only person who can save us from this guacamole is definitely God, no one else. Only God will be able to save us from this mess. Because you know, Mr. Mnangagwa mentioned 2 days ago that he's actually the God. He's a godfather for all Zimbabwean institutions. It means that he said, I'm the one who created them. So, and everyone who listened to what I said, if you say anything negative there, I'm coming after you. He made it very clear. You heard him. So this is to tell you that you should not even rely on those, on those books, because they don't work. Those laws don't work at all. No one cares that the law is in place. They don't care. So now, the EU executive summary said on the 23rd of August 2023, harmonized elections in Zimbabwe were marked by a curtailment of rights and freedoms and the lack of a level playing field, which limited voters' ability to make their choices in a genuinely free and pluralistic environment. A palpable fear of violence underlay the electoral process throughout, and a climate of retribution development after the elections. In this context, comprehensive and meaningful reforms and the political will to engage in them are necessary on the part of Zimbabwean authorities to lay the ground for genuine and credible elections in the future. It means the elections that you saw, they were nothing but a sham. And we know they were. So say the EU was invited by the government of Zimbabwe to observe the harmonized elections, and the EU signed an administrative arrangement that should have granted the mission access to all relevant interlocutors. Yet, the mission faced significant challenges to meet with unofficial bodies at the national level, despite repeated requests. This included the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission, which the EU was only able to meet once, and which was equally unavailable for meetings with the chief observer and the European Parliament delegation. This lack of meaningful access was coupled with an extensive, coordinated, and continued disinformation campaign against the EU and the international observation efforts on the part of some national media. And you know that the EU actually funded the election, but still ZEC, after they collected the money, they didn't want nothing to do with them. Citizen observers face severe restrictions due to a shrinking space for civic activities, administrative barriers, pressure, consistent intimidation, and even mass arrests on election day. You saw people when we were arrested. A raid took place on election night where some 40 members of key reputable citizen observer organizations such as Zimbabwe Electoral Support Network and Electoral Resource Center, part of the international recognized global network of domestic election monitors, were arrested for coordinating the alleged release of election results. They were held without legal counsel for some 12 hours and, although released on bail, still face upcoming court proceedings. The legal framework could have provided an adequate basis for the conduct of credible elections if implemented properly. Recent legal changes, including the passage of the so-called patriotic provisions to the criminal code, legislative work on the private voluntary organizations, PVOB, and selective implementation of the Maintenance of Peace and Order Act, underline the closing space for the exercise of freedoms of association, assembly, and expression. Constitutionally amendment in 2017 and 2021 have eroded elements of the separation of powers, undermining the independence of the judiciary. Very clear written, well articulated. The independence of the judiciary. The judiciary played a key role in the process, but the right to legal redress was compromised by lack of judicial impartiality and the absence of inadequate timeframes to resolve electoral disputes. Such flaws also underscore the need for meaningful electoral legal reform. One thing I'll say is that as Zimbabweans, we just have the fear of the unknown. We can come out of this situation if we take a bold step, but we have the fear of the unknown. I mean, the entire Zimbabwe across the board, from the rural to urban, if we all rise up and say, that's it. I'm sure we have the fear of the unknown. And that's what I think we have. And the ZANU-PF knows that we have the fear of the unknown, and they're capitalizing on our fear. Until election day, the technical implementation of the electoral process was largely conducted in line with the electoral calendar. However, a lack of guarantees for independence, transparency, significant delays in the opening of the considerable number of polling stations on electoral day reduced public trust in ZEC and the efficiency of the electoral preparations. Throughout the electoral period, ZEC's activities were characterized by a lack of transparency and insufficient communication. The integrity of voter registration was contentious due to delays in the sharing of the voters' roll with stakeholders and widespread allegations of inaccuracies in the database. In addition, changes made close to election day were not communicated by ZEC to the public, further decreasing public confidence. Remember when they changed the whole voters' roll, which no one knew? Voters were offered political alternatives, but the overall inclusivity of the candidate registration process was reduced because of an undue requirements and inconsistent application of the rules by ZEC and the nomination courts. The high fees and inconsistent application of the procedures meant that more than 1/5 of aspiring presidential and parliamentary candidates were not admitted to the contest. This means that administrative measures were used to limit citizens' fundamental right to stand and that voters had a narrowed choice. We agreed to that. The campaign environment was subdued and marked by tensions and instances of violence and intimidation, with undue limitations placed on the freedom of assembly, as well as a playing field that was tilted in favor of the incumbent and the ruling party. Most EU observers received reports of forever associating new FARS, vema tables emashavi. Sorry, vema tables by the way, I don't even know what machira dogs. I don't even know how they look like. Okay, so but I just think they are like that. Okay, so fourth, actively intimidating voters throughout the campaign, especially in rural areas. The lack of an adequate campaign finance framework meant that campaign incomes and expenditure were unregulated, were not transparent, and that significant state resources were used on behalf of one-party campaign. The level of abuse that is in Zimbabwe is just like you don't need, you can't even think about it. Like they're actually treating people like you don't exist. They treat people like you do not exist. They do as they please, and they will deny. They gaslight you. Like I just can't begin to fathom. Like sometimes I look at them like they're psychopaths, not human beings. Like vananopenga vasinakukwana. Because really, as a human being who's normal, sometimes you must feel this and have a conscience. There are dead men and women walking on the streets. Dead people. Because the way they behave, it does not make sense. It doesn't make sense. The media was characterized by a polarization, government dominance and ownership, and illegal material challenges faced by journalists, and significant bias in favor of the ruling party in state-owned media. This emphasized the need for reform and impartiality of state media outlets. The EU media monitoring found that state media gave the majority of coverage to the ruling side in a way that skewed the information field. The social media environment was polarized, and information manipulation, distortion, the online political debate. The Constitution provides for the rights of freedom of expression, access to information, and privacy. However, subsequent laws have unduly restricted these rights, resulting in fear and self-censorship by online users. With the inclusiveness of the process already negatively affected during candidate registration, the Constitution in single-member constituencies may have hindered their equitable competition for these seats. While the Constitution recognizes human dignity and fundamental rights for all, minorities still struggle to participate in elections due to marginalization and, in some cases, lack of documentation. The Disabled Persons Act is not in line with international commitments, and no significant efforts were undertaken to further their participation. The election day, which took place under a calm atmosphere, did not see major violence outbreaks. Thus, the proceedings were largely peaceful. However, the late opening of hundreds of polling stations extending into the next day seriously impeded some citizens' right to vote. The delays, most pronounced in Bulawayo, Harare, and Manicaland, appear to have disproportionately affected some opposition strongholds. Moreover, stands set up by activities affiliated with the ruling party near the polling stations to track voters exerted undue pressure on them. The procedures during voting were largely followed as not by EU observers, but some important processes such as the public posting of polling station result protocols were not consistently implemented, especially during the counting. Overall, results management was efficiently organized. However, certain reporting mechanisms lacked transparency. The end. What happened on the 23rd is exactly what's going on in this letter. Straight as the incumbent in ZEC. Because everything that goes wrong in Zimbabwe, it falls on the president's shoulder. He is the overall leader. He is the overall leader. And it's very sad, honestly. You know what? Honestly, and I ask you a question. Like, sometimes I ask, what do the children say when all these mess are happening? Like, is your father? Like, is my daddy? I'm like, you're embarrassing me. Like, you're embarrassing me. Your behavior is embarrassing me. You drag me to mad. What's up? You know, like, what are the kids saying? Like, honestly, at the end of it all, is that a person can be stripped of all the dignity and still be wearing a scarf, wearing a suit, and when nobody respects you, like you are literally just walking around with a title, but no one has respect for you because of your actions. Because of actions. How you're treating people really matters. But I guess, do they care? They do not care. Now, Terence Mukube, the guy that was jailed, the former deputy finance minister, who was jailed for 3 years and also fined for, I think, about 21,000. No, I need to confirm the numbers, honestly. Some people are saying these are the reasons why he was actually jailed. And I want you guys to take a listen to the audio that is circulating right now of what he said about ZANU-PF. And people are saying that's the reason why he has been jailed. Take a listen, please. But I don't know if he was lying.
It's not an issue. Look at it this way. I probably feel our party is at its weakest right now. Last election, HE win 300,000 votes. And when you look at the demographic, you want to vote as ZANU-PF. It was more of the old guard, you know, Chembere, Madzimai, and everything, right? People who are 40 plus. Now, think about it, over the next 5 years, how many of those people will have died? Do you realize with every elderly person an offer on any given day is a ZANU-PF supporter? Because chances are 9 times out of 10, Munuesa over 50 years of age is ZANU-PF. And then when you look on the other end of the spectrum, all the new voters, my youth, and the way things are in Zimbabwe, chances are 9 times out of 10 they vote MDC. So if you have a situation in Kuti right now, the way our party was structured in such a way that Munonzi voted first secretary at the Politburo level. But first secretary I voted because Munongo enda ku Congress Mongonzi. Who's going to stand up? No one is going to stand up. And then you have a situation in which that person anenga first secretary. Anengani absolute power you could choose at the entire Politburo. Now that system works kanari munwenyu. That's why you find good when we were now against Mugabe and we were on the other side. Tayona moto. But now can you imagine good right now? Yes, we're happy because Mnangagwa and because Mnangagwa Munwedu we feel good they are sort of like our cronies, which we can go into any office and get what we want. Now Chifunga good like by politica right now the succession is not clear. If by any chance you're going to right now, worst case scenario, can you tell me who takes over the party? Who's going to be the next person? Is there a process? Like, okay, it's not a...
I'll have to repeat here the last part.
But now can you imagine good right now? Yes, we're happy because Mnangagwa and because Mnangagwa Munwedu we feel good they are sort of like our cronies, which we can go into any office and get what we want. Now Chifunga good like by politica right now the succession is not clear. If by any chance you're going to right now worst case scenario can you tell me good who takes over the party? Who's going to be the next person? Is there a
I love that. What if they can wake up tomorrow and say, Mnangagwa. Did you hear that? I think this is what flabbergasts me, that the way these people behave like they are God. They are behaving as if like they are God and nothing else matter. But here's the thing. You can wake up dead. Then where to? Is that lack of understanding that there's so much that needs to be done as far as succession is concerned? Mugabe was not supposed to be that old before he get a successor. I guess when we go to the coup, he was the reason why we go to the coup. Because if he had a successor earlier on when he was still strong, I don't think we're going to be in this predicament. But now we are also still have Mr. Mnangagwa. Also, no one knows who's going to success him. And people are asking, you can hear him saying, this guy is from ZANU-PF, and they're saying that's the reason why. People are saying that's the reason why he's going to prison. Because of what he said. What if the president wake up dead tomorrow? What's going to happen? to Zimbabwean people? Is there a successor in place? Why is it that things in Zimbabwe is always one runner? No one is willing to say things as they are, to just open up. I mean, we all know. I mean, you know, and I know. I mean, I have a father. My dad is almost 70, but I don't know how many times I'll sit down with my father and he'll tell me his stories, things that he wants, and things that he thinks must be done, and all the things. Let's talk. My father, daughter, conversation. I think most parents do the same. Kind of preparing their children of how the future will look like. And I remember that when I was around 20, my dad got extremely sick and I was with him. And he started telling me about how he wanted things to be done. I was only 20, but God spared his life because I told God, I said, we're going to have a covenant. Dear Yahweh, it's not going to happen. Not now. It's too early for my daddy. He must stay, But God honored the covenant. But what I'm saying is, why is it in Zimbabwe? No one is willing to do things that are clear and open for the sake of the nation. Surely something must be wrong. Something must be wrong in this country. Because I don't understand why can't we just have a clear roadmap to say this is the Zimbabwe that we are, and this is where we are going, this is what we believe in, this is what we think is right, this is what we think is wrong. Don't repeat this. Like sitting down with the elders and they can speak to children. But it's like Mnangagwa, the president, is only the president for the few ZANU-PF people. I saw him sitting with guys that he had scarves. I'm like, these are ZANU-PF people. He's a president for the country of Zimbabwe, but not for the few people. Where are we going as a nation? What is the direction for the nation? Honestly, the people that are advising up there, they are wrong. This Coup is completely right. Is there anything that he said that is wrong when you listen to him? Atukamunaba. He was right. Speaking very important points. But I also actually picked up something very interesting. That even in ZANU-PF, there's actually rigging. These people don't really choose. How can you get to choose a leader and say, anyone who do not agree that this person must be a leader, stand up? Do you think you will stand up? That can show that rigging starts there. Before it even comes to it starts there in the camp. Something is wrong. Understanding of what leadership is about is very wrong. Now, Zivu, Honorable Zivu said the Chitepo, no, it's no longer an Honorable Zivu, Killer Zivu. He said the Chitepo school of ideology shouldn't be exclusive to ZANU-PF members. Here, but Chitepo sacrificed his life for the nation, not just for a single political party. Zimbabwean history should be a source of pride for every Zimbabwean, not just a select few. I don't think that it really was being taught at this, Chitepo school of ideology. It really has to do with the growth of the country. I'm sure it is to do with all this thuggery behavior within the camps of the few. Because if they were taught, if they were really taught about unity, respect, they won't be behaving the way they do behave. Because some of them behave like psychopaths. They don't behave like they're normal. So honestly, in my opinion, I don't think they really teach things that make sense there. Except is you do what we want. You become violent, you protect this. There's nothing to protect. Zimbabwe belongs to Zimbabweans. It belongs to all Zimbabweans. It's not a nation for the few. It's all our nation. You and I, every Zimbabwean, including anyone who would want to visit, we all belong to Zimbabwe. And that must be understood. No one is better than the other. We are all special and we are all important. I just don't know why it's so difficult to understand such a simple principle. It is such a simple principle that people are failing to understand. Simple. Very, very simple principle. And Mr. Mnangagwa is trending. ED is trending. So they are saying that Mr. Mnangagwa takes a page from the colonialist Ian Douglas Smith. Emerson has taken a page from Ian Smith with the recent recalls of CCC MPs. His party, ZANU-PF Patriots, which is behind the recent cause of a recall, sort of several CCC legislators want 2/3 majority, minimum representation of opposition MPs. Statistics during Smith regime showed that while it's the population consistent of 250,000 whites versus 6 million blacks, the representation in parliament had 16 MPs of the black population versus 50 for whites. Registered voters out of the 6 million blacks, only 9,000 were on the voters roll. Huh? Oh, that's where they actually borrowed the tablet. Okay. And then Smith, and they said 6 million blacks, only 9,000 were on the voters' roll. Smith used to vote suppression to accomplish his goals. Mnangagwa has now resorted to recalls to achieve a 2/3 majority since voter suppression didn't work. Smith used the country mantra to justify these actions, and Mnangagwa says Tusumene and claims to know what's best for Zimbabwe. Oh wow, so let's take a listen to what Smith is saying.
That part, sir, about being able to participate, though, is not certainly true as far as voting is concerned, is it?
Oh, yes, it is. The voting is exactly the same for the black man as for the white man. The black man has the same opportunities as the white man. The black man can come into parliament, as can the white man. There is nothing in this country to prevent a black man sitting in my chair, providing he has the ability, providing he can earn the position.
But this is, I'm sorry to interrupt, but the franchise is not that wide, is it, to allow every black man to vote?
No, it isn't that wide to allow every white man to vote either. We simply have a standard, you see. And I wonder if it isn't a good thing when you see what is happening in the world today, how standards have dropped and how irresponsible governments can be. We have always had the standard, I would remind you, going right back to the beginning of our history, in the days when the British government was implicated. And if it was right then, I wonder why it is wrong now.
The standard is, if I can put words in your mouth and forgive me for doing so, there are certain people in this country who don't have the necessary level of sophistication or education to be allowed to vote.
That is correct. And as I say, it applies to you whatever your colour.
Now that is seen by many people in the outside world as racist. Do you consider yourself a racist?
No, I certainly don't. In fact, I live so close to the problem of racialism with so many black people around me that I think I'm conscious of the need to ensure that I'm not a racist. And as a pragmatic person, I can assure you that I am not a racist. It would be impossible for me to go on living in this country, I believe, and to play the part I'm playing if I was a racist. All that we say is, let's have some standards of decency and behavior and civilization. And whatever your color, you can participate.
But the fact of the matter is that under the present system, black men in this country don't come up to those standards by the government's measure.
Well, certainly there are fewer of them than there are white people.
Is Mr. Smith a racist?
He is, of course. Clear racist. I mean, he makes no apology about that. He's a racist.
That's quite interesting to hear. He said we should have standards. Honestly, for me, what I'm having a problem with in Zimbabwe, apart from, is the fact that we have elders, especially when you look at the judiciary, they're very old people there, who are mothers, who are grandmothers. You look at the police services as well, we have grandfathers, fathers in that department. The army as well, the top chefs are really grandfathers. You can see them when they're sitting, they're those mature people. But who don't even think about the leaders of the nation, who doesn't think about the consequences of their actions, who actually don't even think that I'm suppressing people who are actually young enough to be my kids. You see, that feeling and that conscience of saying, these are children. I think that's one thing that I don't understand. The humanity part of us is dead in Zimbabwe. To understand that if Chamisa can be a leader, it's okay. It's like my daughter or my son can be a leader. Honestly, let's ask you a question. If Nelson Chamisa's position right now was Mr. Mnangagwa's son, were we going to be in this position? Or any ZANU-PF person, a leader, son, was aspiring to be a president of the country? What was going to be happening? Were we going to be in this predicament that we're in this mess? Definitely not. So to me, it boils down to selfishness, because you're not my child. You're not my relative. We are sitting on the situation where Terence is going to prison for smuggling diesel. But we also have Electoral Shreya, who is a niece to the president. She's not going to prison because she is a niece to the president. But we have two guys who were arrested and given 5 years in prison for carrying gold that was worth 24 US dollars. But we are having Miss Rushwaya, who stole such a lot of gold, who was caught smuggling 6 kgs of gold. She's getting away with it. One thing that I'll tell you for sure is people who pay. It's a matter of time. Some may not even pay in our lifetime, but their children will have to pay. I've seen people who are called great, came from great to nothing. As long as you're not treating people well, it will come with a cost. It definitely comes with the cost. I was saying something so interesting today, and I don't know if you guys going to pick this up, but trust me. And there are men out there, okay, or women out there, who kind of play people around in dating scenes. And they think they're smart, but their kids will pay. Or they will pay. When they're getting old, they can get some people who's going to mistreat them. The same way that you have sown evil seeds, they're going to come after you. The only guarantee in life that you have is treating people with respect, because your seeds are always going to vindicate you. It is sad to watch. Honestly, like when I look, I wish I can sit down one with them, sitting honestly. Makatarisa where the country is going. Makatarisa the progress within our country. Makatarisa your own leaders. What do you think? Where do you think this is going to lead us to? Where do you think it's going to be the end of all this drama? Because it's carrying on. We are not willing to stop. It's carrying on. Where do you think will be the end if we don't sit around the table and find a solution that will be good for the country? Where are we going with this mess? Because there will be the end. No one knows how the end is going to be. It may be good, it may be very bad. But most of the times when you're doing evil, the end is definitely going to be bad. You cannot expect to extract clean wine from a dirty space. It's not possible. It's a mess. It's chaos everywhere. Right now, after this, forget about you guys have grabbed the election. We were supposed to be talking about what can we do to build the nation moving forward. But here we are. We're still talking about going back and forth, arresting, suing. That one is coming there. That one has been abducted, murdered. We are just all over the place with chaos, literally. I was expecting to say people are having a meeting there. Some are having a meeting. They're trying to see how can we resolve our hospitals? How can we sort our roads? They're saying we're having a meeting. They're trying to fix. What about the youth? That's what we want to hear. Rehabilitation centers for those that has been swamped with drug addiction. Nothing. You're only spending your time spreading toxicity. As elders of the country, as fathers in the country, it is shameful. It is embarrassing. It is humiliating. And I've always said that these words, don't forget that some of you, people are going to say things that are ugly, even on your dead. You're on deathbed. We will say things and say, hey, you deserve where you are because you caused 1, 2, 3, 4 things. You hate our people. This is the end. Some of you, people will spit on you. I can tell you, the way Zimbabweans are angry, that time will come. You expect to be in a space where people can respect you. Street. But you will not. You keep on sowing evil under the guise of all this political nonsense. Remove the political party and fix the country for the betterment of our people. At least Smith was taking care of the
being able
things.
to participate.
At least he was taking care of the stuff. At least he was. But you're not. That's the problem. Every project that you're focusing on is only a project that benefits you and your friends and your buddies. And most of the times, we are sidelined. I always say, why is it all these projects are always, you only want to see people who are just putting scarves? Where are the other guys in the country? The civil society, other political parties, because we are here to fix the country. It's just a few people, not all Zimbabweans. We thought maybe VNA means everybody. Now in the question of Chanakira, it's very sad to watch. It is really sad. It is really, 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 really sad. Very sad indeed. Moving on. Okay, I'm very generous, right? I'm very generous. I'm extremely generous. So there's a video that I got hold of, quite interesting. But I want you guys to take a listen. This woman, what's her name again? If I'm not mistaken, she's literally is a radio DJ in Zimbabwe, if I'm not mistaken. She's called Michelle Mutongwizo. Okay, take a listen, please, to what she said.
She doesn't want to be public with you. That's a red flag. Especially if maybe she's not protecting her work or not afraid of her parents. That's a red flag. Women, we love to be, shown. We love to be, scattered all over. She's not defense. So most likely, you are not her cup of coffee, but maybe you're just a convenience spot. We service provider life, Mike. You number marry, can't number transport. So just watch out of those people. Women actually that we love to be shown love. When I show the post my queen, who even kushologo kawojo. So watch out of those guys. So with that in mind, tola zvidochiza kuti kana muri kusangana nezvakadai tozotanda kukuudzai vamatraits ekuti watch out for mufana wangoneka.
All right, so she's saying that if you're a man and you're dating a woman, you should. If a woman does not want to be, like maybe she doesn't want you to expose her, she doesn't love you. Because women in general, we love to be, we want men to flaunt, either with your picture or saying, oh, my queen or whatever. Don't play those games. If you're young, listen to me. You must remember that when you're dating a person, you're simply dating. You're simply dating. There's nothing fancy about it. You're not married to the person. You owe them absolutely nothing. They owe nothing. You may be dating, it's great, but you're not forced to say, let me flaunt with you or put a picture of my boyfriend. What if I break up with him? I can break up with him and we have another one. Then I put another picture as well. Tomorrow I break up, I put another picture. Surely I don't have a problem if I engage someone. I don't have a problem if I marry a person. Then I'm free to actually post him. But if I'm dating him, honestly, maybe people will know I'm dating him, but I can't be flaunting around here. No. I don't encourage you to do so. She's saying you should. Don't. As a matter of fact, it's only women who push on those, but most of the times men don't do it. Women do, but most of the times men don't. I don't encourage you to do it. It's stupid. He's not your husband. He's a boyfriend. A boyfriend is simply a time to collect the data, because I can see that most people are struggling. You can't give people benefits of wife when it is a girlfriend. You can't give someone benefits of a husband when it's a boyfriend. The two must be different. If you have that understanding that this is a boyfriend, not a husband, then it's easier. That's why people are struggling to actually build homes, because now the behavior you had when you were dating someone is the same behavior that you're exuding when you're marrying him. Those two are different. It must be known that we are dating. We are boyfriend and girlfriend. Or now we are married. Now you are my husband. There's a difference. I know it very well. It's well structured. Young people, you are just messing up your life. Really, truly messing up your life. Dating is a time to collect data. And some of you are giving more of marriage stuff and you don't spend time to know the person. Spend time to talk, to have a relationship with someone. Because there's no marriage that will stand by just you go drinking alcohol and go there and sleep over and come home. No marriage can be built by that. So you are just walking around with all this excitement that are definitely temporary. They are useless. They are not important. Life is made up of challenges. Life is made up of intentionality. It's made up of hard work. It's made up of focus. So it's not what you see when you're going around and just drinking alcohol. It's today's Friday. I know. I have my buddies who drinks. I know. It will be like, right now as we speak, people are ironing clothes. Tonight it will be, like I'm in Joburg, so of course I can tell you, it's going to go down big time. I don't drink, so I don't party. So, but I know. And I've always said to you young people, stop rushing. Take your time. Chill. You must sell who you are, not what you can do for the person that is getting benefits of a husband when he's not. As a matter of fact, if you sit down with that man, he does not wish your actions on his sister. He doesn't wish your actions on his daughter. He wants his daughter to do things right, and he wants his sisters to do things right. One mistake that most of the girls are making is to think that when they meet a man, all of a sudden, he's no longer a family person. You need to understand, a man or a woman that you meet on the street is a product of a family. This coming from a family culture where at home, he knows the parents don't allow the behavior that he's doing. Most of the guys that you are busy cohabitating with, wherever you are, their parents do not approve that behavior. And the men knows it, and the women knows it. But you are promoting it because you're accepting stupid stuff. I've seen girls where a man dies or she dies, and nobody knows what to do with it. Every time you're making decisions, you must consider that there's going to be long-term consequences. It may be a short-time decision, but that has a long-term consequences. Just don't post P-man. Every man you meet on the street, you're posting. Every man you meet, you post. Every woman you're posting. What are you posting? It's just collecting data, getting to know someone. If they can fit into your mother's house, if they can fit, their personality, character can suit your parents' house. If they can't, if a man has got his flawed crooked ways of doing things and it can't fit your family structure, let him go. If a woman's lifestyle does not meet your family structure, she's all over the place. Let me tell you, don't say she's gonna change. No. Listen. She's gonna change. No, there's nothing like that. I've seen people, you have the capacity to change a human being. You are not God. No one has capacity to change a human. As a matter of fact, some of the people you're seeing on the road, parents have given up on them. Their own parents have given up on them. And you think you can come and change them. Stop lying to one another. Take your time to know the person. Don't rush. You're going to be with this person for the rest of your life. What are you rushing to? What are you rushing to? Zikama, chill, relax. Relax. You're going to spend the rest of your life with a person that if you marry him or her, be in mind, you only need one man or you only need one woman. You don't need the whole of the street that your bees messing up with. You don't need them in your life. Some of them, they are ruining your lives. You'll see it in the future that you've wasted your life. You'll see it with time. It will show. It will show in the future that you wasted your life. So I encourage you, please, my sweetie pies, my children, the love of my heart. I can tell you, I'm 40 years old. I've lived. I've seen the worst. I've seen girls broken. I've seen girls dying. I've seen girls literally outside not having a place. I've seen the most. So sometimes we're trying to save you from problems. Some men that are telling you, I love you, I want to marry you. Prove yourself that you have the qualities of a husband. Prove it. You want to marry me? Time will tell. If you're not going to marry, time will tell still. And there's nothing wrong with that. If I didn't lose anything, you didn't lose anything. Bless you and bless you. Young people, you don't just post people all over the place. Because if a person wants to date you, is going to follow through your resume. They will check your resume. Don't forget, people who do investigations. Honestly, I love that statement that I had. I was listening to something yesterday and the man said something so powerful. He said, if I want to employ a person, right, I'll check your resume. But if you have had 10 jobs in 10 years, you are not the right employee. That was such a powerful statement. Okay, I forget his name, man. He said, you are not the right employee. Why? Because you can't move from job. Every time you're always a learner. It says a lot about you and your personality. So if you're a man or a woman, you're all over the place. Every woman, every man in the street is yours. Something's wrong with you. What do you want? Before you follow anybody on the street, sit down. What do you want in your life? Become which that you're looking for. And then when you go outside, it's easier to attract. But if you're all over the place, every woman, every man, everywhere, all over the place, before you know it, you're going to land up with the wrong person. And the problem is not going to be everyone around you. It's you are the problem. Until you find yourself, and then you go outside and find what suits you, you are just nothing but an accident that is about to happen. I'm not surprised I'm not going to struggle to see that this man is for me. I know exactly how I'm going to play him again. I know that the man for me, I know. When he sees me, he's going to say, that's my wife. I'm here. I'm packed. I'm not going anywhere. He doesn't have to move. When he sees me, he say, now I found my wife and that's it. But if he's all over the place, it's not for me. It's that simple. He's definitely not for me. And it's okay. Nothing wrong with that. He must be blessed and move to the next person. Because the man, for me, when he sees me, he knows they found the woman for him. And he knows they found a treasure, an asset. He knows they found an asset. That's it. He is the most blessed man. But if he can't see it, he's not the one. It's that simple. And then we don't need to talk about it. He must just keep moving. Be blessed, sir. Confusion. Me, I'm also going to meet someone who appreciates. It's that simple. So next time, play your cards right. When you're dating, make sure it's the time to collect data. It's the time to know the person, to meet their family. As a matter of fact, to tell you now, girls, it's one of my girls whom I love, that I care for. Every time I'm always say, maybe I'm crazy, I always say, what breaks my heart is the girls that actually need the assistance. They seem to be the one running away from it. Do you know most of the families what they do when you're dating? Most families what they do when you're dating is actually, if you're dating a man, for example, I know a bishop. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna talk about it because he's my father. So I know a person like Bishop Tudor Bismarck. I don't know if you know Tudor Bismarck, the New Life Church, because it's my father. I can talk about him, and also I can't, because it's good things that I'm talking about. The culture in his house that I know for sure, because they're very close allies of ours as a family. They believe that if their son dates someone out there, if they go on holidays, that woman, whoever is dating, must come with them. Why? So that you can see if you can fit in our family. We are watching you, the kind of child that you are and how you were raised. At the same time, you also can see, can you fit in the dynamics of a home? If you can't fit in here, fair play, you go, and if we can see that your behavior doesn't work for us, you must go. That's how you guys must date. Stop dating with you wander. Mushtama move in, mushtama go up and down, mushtama sleep off. It's nonsense. It's dirty. It's filthy. Nothing fancy about it. Hear from me as your sister. It's not fancy. It's filthy. Respect yourself and expect to. If you really want to get a good person, your behavior has to be good. You can't expect to cut corners and think that 1 minute there's going to be an accident that's going to happen and you all of a sudden you're getting good things on your way. It does not work like that in life. You become a good person to attract a good woman or a good man. By checking the family. Check a family. No, you can't see my parents. No. Your mother is going to be my mom, isn't it? Your father is going to be my daddy. Why are you hiding? Why are you hiding? Red flag. Why are you not even open up about it if she's going to be my mother? And if you are going to be my father's son, why would I hide with my father? I should be introduced you to my father. Even if it doesn't work, fair play. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's okay. My dad will understand. But at least I did it right. Daddy, this is the man that I would think I can marry. Check him out. Foreign family members, check him out. Elders are smart. They can sit down with a man. They will know if he's a good person or not. They can sit down with him. Just one sit down, they'll tell you, red flag. Oh, he's a good person. We need to help young people so that you eliminate a lot of problems that most of the young people are facing today. It's unnecessary. Just do the right things and then everything will fall into place. So that's my relationship teaching now. So every time I'm going to do a video, I'm going to have one little thing I'm going to drop for you so that I can help you young people to really understand how to play around in the dating game, because things are getting darker. The world is getting bad. You know what I mean? Things are getting bad. You have your sister right here. I can back you up. I've got all that you need. I can help you to be who God has called you to be. I love you so much. So thank you so much, guys, for hanging out with me. It has been a long one, and I'm coming back a little bit later. So chill. I'm coming back a little bit later. We're going to be talking. Chamisa said I can only consider transitional government. We're going to talk about that exactly around 8:30. I'll be back. I love you all. May God bless you, and may God bless Zimbabwe. Happy Friday to everybody. And bye for now. I need to eat dinner, actually. I need to eat dinner. Yeah. I prefer eating earlier. So you guys, I love you. Bye for now, guys. Bye for now, and God bless you all. I know some of you don't want to leave. I thought I just love you. Yeah, I just love you. Bye for now. Bye-bye.